welcome back to the show where we are joined by Swirl students, budding chef Olwethu, and of course our resident chef Udumi. Now we've been doing some challenges and sharing some of the trends that we already know are popular all across the couple of months that we've experienced our lockdown, and banana bread has definitely taken the cup. At some point everyone has tried to make a banana bread, but let's watch this TikTok.
Hello, let's make cinnamon swirl banana bread in 60 fucking seconds. For the cinnamon swirl, you're gonna have 2 tablespoons of unsalted butter, 3 tablespoons of sugar, 3 tablespoons of brown sugar, 2 tablespoons of ground cinnamon, melt 2 sticks of unsalted butter, pour in your butter, 1 cup of sugar, whisk, 2 eggs, whisk, 2 cups of all-purpose flour, stir it in, 1 teaspoon baking soda, 1 teaspoon vanilla extract, mash 4 ripe bananas, fold in your bananas. You want to combine it very well. Should look like this. You're going to take your pan and line it with parchment paper. I personally like using parchment paper. You don't have to. Take a half a cup and put it at the bottom. Then mix in your cinnamon mix like so. And then just keep layering it until you run out. 350. This is what it should look like. I like to lay some banana slices. Again, that is optional. Middle rack, cook for about an hour. You want it to be golden brown. Look at how beautiful. I'd actually cook for about an hour and 15 minutes. Hope you guys enjoy.
Yummy. Now this week we've been keeping it fresh in our Afternoon Express kitchen with our young chefs, all inspired by Youth Month. And now we have another recipe courtesy of Olwethu Mthembu, and she's about to show us, as a Swirl student, how to throw down.
Yes, sir. So today we have a banana cinnamon swirl bread. So, Dumi, if I can ask if you can just get our dry ingredients together. Awesome. So she has some cake flour, cinnamon, nutmeg, baking soda, baking powder, and then some brown sugar, cinnamon, and butter, just for like the swirl. Add a little bit of finesse to it. And then if I can just ask if you to mash some bananas for me, that would be great. So here I've got our wet ingredients. So I've just got some eggs, sugar, light brown sugar, yogurt, and melted butter. I'm just going to mix that together, and then I'll just get the bananas from you.
Okay, perfect. So I did notice in that TikTok that we just watched, Osisi decided to leave some bananas at the end, just for the top.
Just for the top.
Okay, so I won't mash all of it, I'll make sure. Okay, brilliant. And now when it comes to a banana bread, it blew up on social media. Why do you think it's so popular?
I think just bananas are just an easy, convenient ingredient. Everyone has them, and even if you leave them on the stove, on the shelf to just sit there and rot, you just take them, add some flour, salt, sugar, and you've got banana bread.
It's so simple, it's so easy, it's almost foolproof. Hey, Dumi.
Definitely, Palisa. And the one thing I loved is that everyone showed us how differently you can make banana bread. Some people were using bananas only as the binding ingredient. Some people were going a bit extreme, like some of us right now, because we're making sure we're adding that layers of flavor. So we've got some yogurt over there, we've got some 2 kinds of sugar, brown and white sugar, and now we're adding our own swirl to it. And into the swirl, we're adding some fat spread, we've got some brown sugar, and some cinnamon. So let me just quickly make that swirl so you see exactly what we're talking about. All we're doing is that we're going to take some of this fat spread, put it into our bowl here, and then just make sure that we can combine and incorporate it together with the sugar and the cinnamon, and that creates somewhat of a paste that then goes into our bread. So as it bakes up, you see the beautiful light color from the banana bread and those beautiful specks of brown from the cinnamon swirl itself.
And this is essentially what's making our recipe very different from what we already see blew up on TikTok.
Correct.
We are adding that cinnamon swirl. Now, when it comes to banana and cinnamon, those flavors seem almost perfect to me, Dumi.
Definitely, Palisa. I mean, anytime you're making such kind of recipes like banana bread or chocolate or stuff like that, it pairs very well with cinnamon. So this is something that you can definitely incorporate. Even if you're making pancakes, I think, you could make the swirl and add it into your pancakes over there, and adds a beautiful dimension of flavor. Yes. And then into our dry ingredients, over here I had those that baking powder, baking soda, some flour. I also had some cinnamon and nutmeg that's been sifted nicely into this bowl. As soon as Olwethu is done and Palisa's done using her elbow grease, all of this is going to go into that mixture, and then we swirl that cinnamon beautifulness into this banana loaf.
So we went for bananas that are actually a little bit on the raw side. They were still a little hard, but you can feel free to use whatever kind of bananas. If you know those overripe bananas, I think those are so simple, so easy to mash up. But here, look, it's happening.
Definitely, Palisa. And the one thing I love about that, even though we're using the bananas that are not too ripe, the perfect thing about that is that it gives you pieces of banana as the banana bread bakes inside. So instead of us leaving some banana at the end, Palisa, and putting it inside, you're doing a pretty good job over there. So you can actually leave it like that, so you don't have to worry about it being too
Then I'll
much.
just
Okay.
add it to this.
Okay, perfect. Then let's add that banana in there. And at the end of the day, let me actually use this. This can be used at the top of that loaf.
Yes.
Correct.
So I'm going to leave these little banana pieces for Dumi at the end there.
Thank you
When
very
you put it
much,
all into
Bali.
your baking tray.
And then we've also got some walnuts in here as well. If you want to, you can add nuts. You don't have to. It's completely a preference thing. But we also always like to add texture. Whenever we're cooking or baking in the kitchen, we always mention texture. So I'm just going to add some of this into our flour, our dry ingredients, because like we always say, you don't want it to sink to the bottom of your mixture. So I'm just going to add our dry ingredients into the wet and then swirl in our cinnamon swirl. And Balisa, that's it. Put it into an already greased banana loaf. And let it bake. How long would it bake, Oletu?
Probably between 35 to 45 minutes.
And that's it. Once it's baked nicely, you'll see those beautiful swirls on the inside of the banana loaf.
I love that. So, Olwetu, as we are putting our finishing touches on our banana bread with a cinnamon swirl, what is the key tip to remember when putting this together?
In putting this together, just make sure your bananas are properly mashed so they mix into the batter properly, and don't over mix your flour too much. Otherwise, it'll become dense and
Yeah, we don't want that. Okay.
As you can see, Palisa, so I've also just left a bit of specks of flour in there because you don't want to overbake it. I've put in half. I'm swirling in that cinnamon swirl and then put the rest. All of that then goes into the oven.
Just like that.
Just like
now, trends do come and go, but one thing is always guaranteed, is access to all of these recipes. And if you would like to top up your recipe collection, then head over to afternoonexpress.co.za to get this recipe and all our other Youth Month inspired recipes.
Yes.